Amazing pre-algebra students. This is Mrs. A, and I love math. Today we're here with lesson 6 in your Saxon course 3 book, and we're talking about converting measures. We're going to use this equation. The number of the first unit times some constant is going to give me the number in the second unit. So we're talking about changing units, and it's always going to involve multiplication and division. So now let me show you two screens that have lots of conversion units on them, and then we're going to talk about how to go about doing this. Converting from one unit to another unit involves multiplication or division by a constant that defines the relationship between the units. A good equation would be number of the first unit times some constant equals number of the second unit. So here's our first example here. It says Reggie took 36 big steps to walk the length of the hallway. If each big step was about a yard, then the hallway was about how many feet long? Okay, so here's the board for our first problem. There were 36 big steps down the hallway, and they said that each big step was about a yard. So then how many feet long is the hallway? About. Okay, so we know that the hallway, since each big step is about a yard, the hallway is about 36 yards long. How many feet is that going to be? So we have 36 yards times some constant. Now we know that there are 3 feet in every yard. 1 yard is 3 feet. That's something we should know. Okay, so now look at this. Yards up here is in the numerator. We can put a 1 down there. And then yards is in the denominator. The yards is going to cancel the yards and leave me with feet. So feet, and then the numbers tell me what to do. It's kind of like a road map. 36 times 3, 6 times 3 is 18, carry the 1, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So 108 feet is about the same as 36 yards. Okay, so this is our second example. It says a full 2-liter bottle contains how many milliliters of liquid? Okay, so 2 liters, milliliters. So we're going to go look on our chart. And if you look in about the middle of your chart under capacity on page 37, which is in your packet, then you find that 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter. Okay, so we have 2 liters, that's not 2 minus liters, that's 2 liters, okay, equals how many milliliters? So we're going to say 2 liters times something is how many milliliters? I'll put it there so I can put the answer right there. So we're going to say, do we put 1,000 milliliters on top or 1 liter on top? One goes on the top, one goes on the bottom. Since I want to get rid of liters and I want to go to milliliters, I'm going to put milliliters on the top. So milliliters on the top, 1,000 of them, and 1 liter on the bottom. So now on the bottom is a liter. Up here, this is the numerator. Remember, this is the top, this is the bottom. Liter cancels liter, and we're left with milliliters. 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. Should have got my big board for that one. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Example 3. We have 5,000 meters, and we're trying to get to kilometers. So it says the 5,000 meter run is an Olympic event, how many kilometers is 5,000 meters? So we're going to start with 5,000 meters. We're going to try to change it to kilometers. So here's my 5,000 meters. I'm going to multiply by something to get kilometers. Since I'm going 2 kilometers, I want kilometers on the top. I want meters on the bottom because I want my meters to cancel with the meters, which we could stick a 1 under there, is on the top. Meters is on the top, meters is on the bottom. Meters cancels meters. Okay, so now I only have 1 unit left, and it's the one that I want in my final answer. So 5,000 divided by 1,000, because it's on the bottom, 5,000 divided by 1,000 is 5 kilometers. Okay, here's example 4. James weighed 8 pounds 10 ounces at birth. How many ounces did James weigh? Okay, so we already have the 10 in ounces. So let's just say 8 pounds plus 10 ounces is how many ounces? So we're really going to treat these separately. So let's just take this one and figure out how many ounces it is. So let's start with 8 pounds. So here we go to finish off. We have 8 pounds is how many ounces? Now, if you look on your page 37, you'll see that 16 ounces is 1 pound. Okay, so we're trying to find out how many ounces 8 pounds is. So I'm going to move ounces way over here. How many ounces? And I'm going to multiply. Now, I know the right numbers, but do I know which one to put on top and which one to put on bottom? Okay, I'm trying to go to ounces. So I want ounces on top. So ounces goes on top. 16 ounces is the same thing as 1 pound. Pounds goes on the bottom. Okay, now pounds will cancel pounds when I multiply because one's on the top and one's on the bottom. I'm left with ounces, which is what I want. 8 times 16, that's a big number, but just a 1 on the bottom. So 8 times 16, let's see what that is. 16 times 8, 6 times 8 is 48. 1 times 8 is 8 plus 4 is 12, so 128. So the 8 pounds is 128 ounces. And 128 plus 10 is 138. So James weighed 138 ounces when he was born. Okay, now we're starting your first practice problem. Remember that your practice problem is the first thing that you have to do on your homework packet. Now, look at the book practice problem and then look at your worksheet practice problem and do it with me so you won't have as much homework. Okay, so the book says a room is 15 feet long and 12 feet wide. What is the length and width of the room in yards? Okay, so first of all, let's write our pattern. We have so many feet times something gives us yards. That's what we're looking for. We're looking to go to yards from feet. So in the first case, we have 15 feet, and that was the length. Okay, so and then we're going to multiply. Now we know that 3 feet equals 1 yard. I want to go to yards. So I'm going to put yards on the top. I'm going to put feet on the bottom. And I'm going to have 1 yard is 3 feet. Okay, so 15 feet cancels feet. 15 divided by 3, because it's on the bottom, is 5 times 1 is 5 yards. So that was the length. Length is 5 yards. Okay, so now we're going to do the width. So this is now 12. We don't have to do this again because we already know that it's 1/3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4 times 1 is 4 yards. So the width is 4 yards. 5 yards and 4 yards. Do it in your packet. Okay, look at B in your packet and in your book problem, which is also in your packet. And the book problem says, Nathan is 6 feet 2 inches tall. How many inches tall is Nathan? So we're going to try to find his whole height in inches. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write 6 feet plus 2 inches equals how many inches? Okay, so we're going to say 6 feet plus 2 inches. Now, the one that I already have inches in inches, so I'm going to concentrate on 6 feet. 6 feet equals how many inches? So we're going to multiply by something to get it in inches. Now, I know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So since I'm trying to go to inches, I'm going to put inches on the top. And 12 is 1 foot. 6 feet, 1 foot. Feet cancels feet. 6 divided by 1 is 6 times 12. 6 times 12 is 72. Now 72 inches is going to replace 6 feet, 72 inches. 72 inches plus 2 inches is 74 inches tall. All right, so the last practice problem. Now, I hope you're reading these practice problems in your book. So the last practice problem says 7 kilometers is how many meters? So we're on C now, practice problem C. So in your book, you have the book problems, and you should be able to read it. 7 kilometers is how many meters? And you have your packet, which is your workbook, that should have something similar so that you can always match up the workbook problems with the actual book problems. You will have no problem doing this homework. 7 kilometers is how many meters? You look into that little book chart and you find that 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. So kilo means 1,000, and there are 1,000 meters in every kilometer or kilometer. So what we're going to do is come down here. We're going to say, okay, 7 kilometers times something is going to give me how many meters. Since I want meters to come out of the problem, I want meters to be on the top, and I'm going to put the kilometers on the bottom, and then 1,000 goes with the M for the meters, and 1 goes with the kilometers to make my ratio a true ratio. And now I just multiply. Kilometers cancels kilometers, that is in the denominator. Your unit should always cancel. Now the only unit left is meters, and that's what I wanted, so I know I have set this up correctly. 7 times 1,000 is 7,000, and 7,000 divided by 1 is 7,000. So 7,000 meters. And that was your last practice problem. Now I'm going to work a couple of problems for you. Okay, so I am on book problem 1, which you should have in your packet in a copied paper. And book problem number 1 says a movie is 100 minutes long. How long is the movie in hours? So what we're looking for is 180 minutes equals how many hours? So I'm going to put 180 minutes equals how many, oops, I got to put minutes down there, minutes equals how many hours? That's our problem, straight out of the book. Okay, so let me get the shine off the board. My window's shining on me. Okay, so now we're going to, since we know what we're trying to go to hours, we're trying to get rid of minutes. So let's put times something equals how many hours. We're trying to get to how many hours. So we want hours upstairs. So hours, and minutes are going to go downstairs. And what do we know about hours and minutes? We know that every hour has 60 minutes. So 1 hour has 60 minutes. And now we're all ready to do our problem. So 180 and 60 are going to divide. The minutes will cancel the minutes. 180 divided by 60 is 3. Times 1 is 3. 3 hours is 180 minutes. Okay, so we're going to look in our book problems, and we're going to read number 2. A recipe calls for a half pint of cream. How many ounces of cream are required? So 1/2 pint of cream is how many ounces? That's what we're trying to do. So we're going to have to go to our book and look up the relationship between pints and ounces. So I'm going to go back over to page 37, and this top one right here where my finger is says 16 ounces is 1 pint. So 16 ounces is 1 pint is the relationship I'm going to use. 16 ounces is 1 pint. But I'm looking for a half a pint. So you could probably do that in your head. But let's don't do it in our head. Let's do it with the equation 1/2 pint equals how many ounces? Okay, so now I'm going to take off my equals, put it times, think of what is that relationship that I'm going to multiply by. I'm trying to get to ounces. Okay, trying to get to ounces, so I want ounces on the top. So that means that pint will go on the bottom. And 1 pint is 16 ounces. And now I have my relationship already. My pints will cancel pints, leaving me with the only unit left is ounces, which is what I want. So now I'm just going to say 1/2 times 16, or 16 over 1. I can just do it like fractions. 1/2 times 16 over 1. 1 times 16 is 16. 2 times 1 is 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8 ounces. And that's number 2. Number 3 in your book homework says the bottle of water weighed 2 kilograms. What is the weight in grams? So we're going to go from 2 kilograms to grams. So here's my setup here. And then I went to the chart on page 137, and I found 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. Remember, kilo means 1,000. So 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So now this is the information that I'm going to use for my ratio. So I'm going to put times something equals. So 2 kilograms times something equals how many grams? So I'm going to write this relationship. I'm trying to go to grams. Therefore, grams will be upstairs. So grams is upstairs. And 1,000 goes with grams. Kilograms is going to go downstairs because I am trying to get rid of the kilograms. I want them to cancel out, and a 1 will go to make the ratio true. So now I'm ready to go. 2 kilograms is going to cancel kilograms. 2 divided by 1 is 2 times 1,000 is 2,000 grams. 2 kilograms is 2,000 grams. 1 kilogram was 1,000 grams. So it makes sense that 2 kilograms will be 2,000 grams. But I don't want you to just see it. And I want to see this work in every single problem. Okay, so here is number 4 from our book homework. 3/4 of the students wore the school colors. If there are 300 students, how many wore school colors? Okay, so you can see that on my board, I have written 3/4 of the students wore school colors. And there were 300 students altogether. So how many wore school colors? Okay, so now I'm going to put 3/4 of always means times the students. But instead of the students, I'm going to put 300 because there were 300 students. And what is 3/4 of 300? Now, we could just go ahead and put a 1 under there and multiply fractions, which means that we would cancel. And I know that there's 4 in every 100. So I'm going to divide this by 4 and get 1. Divide this by 4. And since there are 300s, but there are 25 4s in each 100. 25 times 3 would be 75. You could do that. And then I could multiply 3 times 75. And that's going to be 5 times 3 is 15. And 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. So 225 students wore school colors. Or I could have multiplied 300 times 3 is 900, and then divided by 4. And 900 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Bring down your 1. Bring down the next 0. 4 into 10 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Bring down the 0. 4 into 20 is 5. 225 is what we came out with before. So I'm going to hold the board so maybe you can see it without all of that glare. Okay, so each book that Violet carried, this is number 5 in your book problems. Each book that Violet carried weighed 2 pounds. If she carried 12 books, how heavy was her load? Now, remember, when we're looking for a total, we're going to multiply. If we're looking for one of the factors, we would divide, okay? So if each book is 2 pounds and she has 12 books all together, then you're trying to find the total weight that she is carrying. She's carrying a lot of weight, okay? So 2 pounds for each book times 12 books is 2 times 12, or 24 pounds. Now, let's go apply what we just learned in this section. Could we say that it's 2 pounds per book? That's what that means, right? Each book is 2 pounds. And there are 12 books. Well, look what happens. Books on the bottom cancels books on the top, leaving me just with pounds. And that tells you that I am doing it correctly. I should multiply. So 2 pounds times 12, since book and book cancel, 2 times 12 is 24 pounds. And if you will bother to cancel your units, you will often get a little confirmation that you're doing it the right way. And we have thoroughly covered lesson 6 and done 5 of your homework problems. This is Mrs. A, and may God bless your day.